In the news, resident doctors down tools decry government's failure to fulfill their demands. Edo State APC knocks Governor Obaseki over his comments on the state of federal roads in Edo State. Plus, the NBA calls for immediate disciplinary actions against DSS and Correctional Service operatives who clashed over custody of the suspended CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. Hello and good day. Welcome to VOS TV Main News. My name is Mary Okaka. We begin with health now. The National Association of Resident Doctors have commenced indefinite nationwide industrial action following the expiration of a 2-week ultimatum earlier given to the federal government to meet its demands for immediate payment of arrears, upward review of CONMES, amongst others. The report. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has declared a total and indefinite strike action over the inability of the federal government to meet with their demands, which was negotiated and agreed on. Some of their demands include immediate payment of the 2023 Medical Residency Training Fund (MRTF), immediate release of the circular on 1-for-1 replacements, payment of skipping arrears, upward review of the Consolidated Medical Salary Structure (CONMES) in line with full salary restoration to the 2014 value of CONMES, payment of the arrears of consequential, adjustment of minimum to the omitted doctors, amongst others. In an exclusive interview with VOS TV news crew in Benin, the president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital (UBTH), Dr. David Orewere, said the strike action became necessary as a result of the federal government's insensitivity to resident doctors across the country. According to him, the federal government failed to meet its own obligation despite the 2 weeks ultimatum earlier given and subsequent assurances by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF George Akume. Dr. David, who lamented the huge maltreatment on resident doctors, appealed to government to act fast to enable them go back to work.
It's always sad for us to go on strike. That's why we make it a last resort, and right now a really last resort. So let me paint a picture here. We had given an ultimatum of 14 days in March. The ultimatum expired. We gave concession because there was handover to a new government. We went on a 5-day warning strike. We came out of it. We gave concession again, gave another 14-day ultimatum. And right now we are here on a strike. So we do not just jump into strikes. And it is sad because we are conscious of our patients. Our patients are even our relatives most times. But again, you will find out that the doctor himself also needs to be treated. It will interest you to know that as of now, our doctors find it difficult to come to work. This morning, one of our doctors mentioned that he bought fuel at 700 naira. Doctors have parked their cars. They cannot come to work again because of the prevalent economic conditions. So beyond the patient, it affects us. And if we cannot come to the hospital to treat the patient, then it's a sad situation we are in. And that's why we are calling on government to rise to the occasion, to do what is needful, so that we do not have needless deaths, because it's painful to always lose people on account of strike. But we have been overstretched, I can tell you, and on good authority. We have been overstretched. The strike was just the peak of the burden we have borne for quite a while now. Our demands are very simple, very simple. Like I stated earlier, first and foremost, there were close to 8 resolutions of them that were given in the last communique. The resolutions border on remuneration, which is where the MRTF comes in, which is where our consolidated medical salary structure comes in, which is where our hazard allowances come in, arrears of which haven't been paid. They are skipping arrears dating back to 2014, 2015, 2016 that haven't been paid. Then there are the issues of manpower, which is the brain drain that we are saying replace doctors and ultimately healthcare workers as they travel or as they jackpot, as it were. We are saying they should be replaced so that we do not have burden on the doctors currently remaining. And then there are issues of infrastructure. Our hospitals are not in the best of conditions, as it were. It will interest you to note that while having a discussion with stakeholders this morning, we discovered that UBTH is the only place that have a special care baby unit in Benin. And so what happens to patients that will be discharged from the SCBU. It's better imagined than spoken about. So we appeal to government and well-meaning individuals to help us prevail on government to settle our issues as promptly as possible. Residency training is to make the country better. If government is not ready to commit to the resources it has said it will commit via an act, MRTF act, then I don't see why we should be playing here. The infrastructure needs to be put in good shape, and then brain drain needs to be addressed. And we have proffered a solution for that. So we see it. We don't see why it is difficult for government to follow through with these plans, as it were.
We head over now to politics. The Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, says the federal government is committed to the welfare and infrastructural development of Nigerians and Edo citizens in particular. The Edo State chairman of the APC, Colonel David Imuse, disclosed this while reacting to Governor Godwin Obaseki's blames on the federal government over the state of federal roads in Edo State. Imi Salami completes the report.
The Benin-Sapele-Warri Road is one of the roads in a sorry state that needs urgent attention from both the state and federal governments. The deplorable state of this road has led to several demonstrations by some residents of the area. In a recent visit by the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki to the Nigeria Union of Journalists, he heaped the blame on the federal government for the deplorable state of the road, which he said is a federal road.
And the federal policy relating to its roads is very confusing. In the past, we could go as a state, rehabilitate, and go and give federal government the bill to say, we have carried out palliatives on your roads, please refund. At a point, they said, oh, states can apply to take over those roads. But I'm still to see one state that they've given any federal road to. We say, okay, please let us undertake the palliative on that road so that at least they can go and get aggregates for work. They said, no, we can't touch those roads because the road is a federal road and it's already under contract. What do we do?
However, the Edo State APC chairman, David Imuse, while assuring citizens of the state that the issue of road infrastructure is of topmost priority to the APC-led federal government, he lamented that the state government has failed totally in its responsibilities to the people. Imuse, who berated the governor for not continuing with the Benin stormwater project, which was initiated by the previous administration, decried the alleged misappropriation of funds received from the federal government for the projects executed in the past.
First and foremost, it is important to note that the Benin Stormwater Project, which was intended to address the issues of flooding and erosion in Benin City, was not completed by Godwin Obaseki's junta. This lack of progress has contributed to the worsening flood and erosion problems in our state. Furthermore, the partyless government led by Mr. Godwin Obaseki has engaged in gross misuse of funds allocated to Edo State by the federal government over time. You are aware that over 16 billion was refunded to the state under the watch of Obaseki for the federal roads fixed by his predecessor in office, Senator Adams Oshomole, during his tenure as governor. Additionally, another 21 billion was given to Edo State government from the oil derivation funds, which are intended for oil-producing states like ours, for infrastructural development, roads inclusive. What we know is that Godwin Obaseki presided over the misappropriation of these monies without recourse to the critical sector of our living.
While these accusations and defense are raging, all that seemed to matter to the Edo residents is immediate repairs of the roads to make movement easy for them. Imi Salami, Viewers TV News, Benin.
We now go on a short break. The news continues shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Some operatives of the Department of State Service, DSS, and those of the Nigerian Correctional Service engaged in a free-for-all fight this Tuesday at the Federal High Court in Lagos State. Deborah Nikoro reports that the unprofessional act between both agencies followed an argument over who takes custody of the embattled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. The report.
That's the commander of the Nigerian Correctional Service being humiliated. He's being humiliated. His uniform, he's being manhandled.
There was a drama at the premises of the Federal High Court in Lagos as operatives of the Department of State Service (DSS) clashed with officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service (NCS) over who to take custody of the embattled suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), Godwin Emefiele, who was this Tuesday arraigned at the Federal High Court in Lagos State, was granted bail of 20 million naira by Justice Nicholas Uwaibu. Deborah Nikoro, reporting for VOS TV News, Benin.
Reacting to the development, the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) condemns the DSS and Correctional Service action, describing it as a brazen disrespect for the judicial process and sanctity of the court premises. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary Akorede Habib, the NBA denounced the DSS for its peculiar part in what it describes as disgraceful and unlawful conduct, considering the fact that the court had ruled that the embattled ex-CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, be kept in custody of a correctional center pending when he perfects his bail conditions. The NBA says the court remains the barometer by which the conduct of persons or agencies of government are gauged in assessing the rule of law. While condemning the incident, the NBA notes that it gives credence to lack of discipline and absence of professionalism plaguing key security institutions in Nigeria. The situation, the NBA says, accounts for limited progress in achieving a coordinated response to security concerns across the country. The statement calls for immediate disciplinary measures against officers of both agencies involved in the unprofessional conduct. The NBA president also reiterates the need for total reorientation of the personnel and also the imperativeness of a strengthened interagency collaboration among security agencies in the country. The dangers associated with illegal and irregular migration have again been brought to the fore. This was emphasized by experts and stakeholders in Benin City at the official launch of a sensitization campaign with the theme Edo Shore for You. The campaign, at the instance of the International Organization for Migration, IOM, in collaboration with the Edo State government, had in attendance representatives from NAPTAPE, NGOs, amongst other stakeholders. Speaking with newsmen at the event, the Senior Special Assistant to the Edo State Governor on Development Partnership, Osifo, reiterated that the state government is primed to educating the people, most especially the youth, on the need for proper migration.
The whole idea is to create awareness of irregular migration. As a state government, the government has taken a lot of steps to ensuring that irregular migration in itself is actually curbed. So this actually is the launch of the awareness program for that particular project. We understand that the country might seem a bit difficult, but however, if you want to travel, migration in itself is not wrong, but irregular migration is where you have a problem. So as an organization, as IOM and as a government, we've come up together to say, hey, if you want to travel, let's do it the right way. Let's do it regularly. Let us do it with the right information and make a proper decision before taking on the trips out of the country.
On her own part, the awareness-raising officer of the International Organization for Migration, IOM, Cyprian Cheptepken, noted that the essence of the campaign was to enlighten Edo indigenes of the opportunities in the state and to discourage illegal migration.
as we've done in the past. So as much as possible as IOM, we try to come up with various intervention on how we can be able to reach to our various target audience like the youth. And specifically like what we are doing today in Edo in terms of launching this campaign, Edo Sure For You, is we are trying to sensitize potential migrants who are from Edo indigene that yes, it's not always green on the other side, and there are actually opportunities that are available here in Edo State that they could tap in. But then again, as much as possible, should they decide they want to migrate, they should do it in a safe and orderly manner, because that's all that we keep preaching about it.
We now take another break. When we return, the concluding segment of the bulletin. Please do not go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still on to VOS TV Main News. On to entertainment now. Popular influencer and comedian Ogechi Ukonu, popularly known as Caramel Plug, has reportedly arrested an ID vendor who accused her of going back on a promise to tag the vendor for a dress given to her for free. A Twitter user called Otumba earlier called Caramel out for refusing to tag the vendor for a gown she wore in a viral video, which was allegedly given to her for free promotion, and for tagging Zara, a well-known ready-to-wear brand, instead. The Twitter user went on to post a video which allegedly shows Caramel taking security personnel to pick up the vendor, who goes by the name Ruchi Clovens on Instagram. Finally, on to sports news now. Nigeria's female football team, the Super Falcons, have won the second game in the ongoing FIFA's Women's World Cup with a 3-2 win against Australia on Thursday, July 27. The win, which was secured by goals from Uchenna Kanu, Osinachi Ohale, and Asisat Oshoala, has boosted the Super Falcons' chance of getting to the round of 16 in the tournament. And that's the size of our news package. Please do well to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification buttons to keep getting updates from us. On behalf of the news producer, Jude Aweke, my name is Mary Okaka. Thanks for staying tuned. Bye-bye.